Here are the pros and cons to putting 20% down. One of the pros to putting 20% down is you don't have to pay private mortgage insurance. This is called PMI. This is a government required insurance that basically helps protect the bank. So if you don't have at least 20% down, there's gonna be basically a surcharge. Sometimes it can be $100, $200, even $300 a month on top of your normal payment if you don't have that 20% down. Why is this? Well, you can ask the government. I think that they're trying to encourage people to have skin in the game. And the banks also want you to have skin in the game so that you go into it together. You take on 1/5 of the entire purchase price, they take on 4/5, everybody's happy, everybody wins, and you can get what you want. Another benefit to putting 20% down or more is it'll make your mortgage payment a lot less per month than if you put down 0% because you're financing less of the project. Another benefit to putting down as much down payment as possible on your property is that you have more equity on the front end. So the more equity you have, the more options you have, whether that's a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, or that's, hey, I'm just gonna pay off my home as soon as possible and roll that into another project. Or if you pay off your entire home, all that you're really responsible for is property taxes and maintenance. So obviously the more equity you have, the less you owe the bank. So it's generally a good idea to go ahead and build your equity as soon as you can, and again, avoid that PMI. So what are some of the cons to putting down 20%? Well, if you're looking in Seattle and you see a home and it ends up being around $800,000, well, maybe 20% is not in the cards for you. It's a lot of money to come up with. So in that example, at $800,000, 20% down would be $160,000. For some people, that's realistic. For some people, that's not. So it really depends on your situation. A lot of financial advisors and economists say that building equity as soon as possible is smart. Basically, every multimillionaire and every billionaire has real estate in their portfolio. And why is that? Well, check out this Oprah quote. You can't live in a mutual fund. You can't live in a stock, right? But you can live in your house, and we're always going to need land. We're always going to need a place to stay, and real estate historically has always appreciated up. So even if it is a tough financial burden at the beginning, I would highly recommend you talk to a really great realtor and a really good lender and start building your team out so you know your options. So you could explore 0% down programs, and then as soon as you get into that property, you can start paying that down as soon as possible, making reasonable monthly payments, getting that PMI off there, and you've started the American dream. Another thing you could do is look at 3% or 5 or 10 or 20% down conventional programs, or you could look at a 3.5% down FHA program. Here in King County, there are even programs from the Washington State Finance Housing Commission where you can take 2 classes and go through 2 presentations and get a certificate, and based on your income, the county will actually help you with your down payment. So let's say that you find a house and it ends up being $500,000. Well, 3% conventional on that is only $15,000. So you could set a goal, I'm gonna go ahead and save $20,000 or $25,000 so I can easily afford 3% down on a $500,000 house. Another option to consider is based on the competitive nature of your bidding situation. There are ways that we can change how much you put down in the contract to make the offer more or less competitive. So we can go over those options as well. So that is a basic overview of some of the financing considerations you can make. So if you're interested in exploring these options, I'd love to recommend you to a great local lender and/or to have you meet with me as well and go over the best options for your specific situation.